welcome to Recruiting, Retaining, and Graduating Diverse Scholars. My name is Lisa Dieker, and I'm at the University of Central Florida. And today we're going to be highlighting recruiting scholars in general, but specifically focusing on supports for scholars with disabilities. Joining me today are two of my wonderful scholars at the University of Central Florida.
Hello, my name is Fanica Young. I am a former special education teacher, but currently a second-year doctoral scholar at UCF, and my research interests are trauma-informed special education and teacher preparation.
Hi, I'm Shalise Conkey, and I am also a PhD student at the University of Central Florida. I am previously a high school special educator with a focus in science, and I now look at in research in making science more accessible for students with disabilities.
And we're really excited to be with you today and share what we have learned in our journey of supporting scholars from diverse backgrounds, both getting them into the program, retaining them, and of course, graduating them. We're very proud of the fact at UCF that in the past 20 years, we have a 95% graduation rate. 112 scholars have graduated. We're a fairly new PhD program, with 34 being from diverse backgrounds. 22 have disclosed they have disabilities, and 11 have shared their parents of students with disabilities. Our current cohort, a little bigger than normal, due to the pandemic, has 25 scholars. 11 students are from diverse backgrounds, 6 currently have disclosed disabilities, and 5 are parents of children with disabilities. The array of neurodiversity that has graduated in our program includes rheumatoid arthritis, blind, learning disabilities, physical disabilities, deaf, cerebral palsy, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, traumatic brain injury, bipolar, anxiety disorder, clinical depression, multiple sclerosis, and muscular dystrophy. And we really find that this array of both cultural diverse scholars that we've graduated, as well as neurodiversity, has really taught us all something about ourselves and a really great opportunity to learn from each other. So today we're going to share with you 5 strategies that we found to really be supportive in our program. And Fanisha is going to share with you how we recruit from terminal degree programs, as well as our mentorship model. Shalise will share a little bit about support for scholars when they arrive, and I'll share a little bit about alumni referrals and support, as well as the personal contact we try to make. So Fanisha, take it away.
UCF has successful recruitment strategies when it comes to attracting PhD scholars to their ExCed program, and one being HBCUs. I am a former HBCU graduate from North Carolina A&T, and I can recall during my undergraduate journey when I was telling my mentor there that I really wanted to seek getting my PhD. And when it was that time, she was emailing me different OSEP grants that were available, and I asked her for her honest opinion, and she told me UCF would be the best choice, and I'm happy that I made that decision. Also, we do a very good job with disability services. A lot of our scholars do have disabilities, so we make sure when we admit them, we ask them what type of supports that they need, and also tell them about the disability services on campus so that they get the accommodations that they need. Also, we reach out to different organizations that serve individuals with disabilities, letting them know about the different grant options we have. But not only that, when we get to UCF, support is provided. If we ask for it, they give it to us. So some of that support looks like weekly meetings where we have Q&A and just sit down meetings where we talk about things that are going on in the program, conferences that are coming up, different ways that we can present, teaching, service. We also get mentors when we start the program, and I'll talk about that a little later. But not only that, during dissertation or just classes in general, they give us editors, tutors, whatever it takes, that's what we get.
And we're really glad you chose UCF, by the way. Thank you for that recommendation.
So the next point I want to make is mentoring. Mentoring at UCF is ongoing. So we get constant mentors during our first year, or even when we began our first semester at UCF, we are giving mentors that are in their second and third year. And basically those mentors are just to help us, guide us with classes, if places that we need to stay when we get to Florida, and just overall generic questions that our PIs may not be able to answer. Also, we allow our scholars to reach out to past alums that have similar research interests. And last but not least, depending on what grant you're on, your PI is your mentor. So that is your go-to person and your chair for your dissertation.
And I think one of the things that's really fun is to watch you all mentor each other. So it's also getting a chance to learn from each other and to learn how to be a mentor, because it's not something that just is easy to do. Sometimes it's hard and a challenge. And I know, Shalise, you've had a lot of great experiences for support since you've arrived. Do you want to share a little of your thoughts there?
Yes, so I am actually a person with disabilities, and I've gone to multiple universities all over the country, and I have been incredibly pleased, and this has been the most positive experience that I've had when it comes to disability services. My experience started before I even was accepted as a student at UCF, where I was automatically gotten in contact with student disability services and had questions about what my needs were and how to make the process as seamless as possible. This has also been the first time that I have been around other people with disabilities who are very proud of who they are, and the group sees having disabilities as an advantage rather than a disadvantage. The program also provides personalized supports for people with disabilities, such as tutors, editors, and even physical supports or travel companions. For example, one of our previous scholars who is blind, when she needed to travel for a conference, one of our staff accompanied her to make sure that she had a seamless process.
Yeah, and I think we've learned so much, again, not just neurodiversity, but we also have the great diversity of the Holmes Partnership that connects all of our scholars from culturally diverse backgrounds, not only across the College of Education, but really across the nation. And one of the things I would love to see evolve is a neurodiversity organization that connects scholars across the country, because I know often what we do is find another scholar at another university who is blind or deaf or has arthritis and say, what have you done? And I think that's been a real strength in our support model. And I know you've got a few more ideas to share, Shalise.
Of course. In general, there is a big focus on culture, whether or not that's disability culture or other types of backgrounds where you're coming from as far as heritage. And those, we are taught how to, and given chances to have those sometimes hard conversations and to embrace those differences, and how to communicate your needs and support others with needs that aren't the same as your own. What I love about our program is that neurodiversity is not a deficit, and it is really celebrated and encouraged to be proud of who you are, and is almost interwoven throughout our program. Additionally, there are awards and acknowledgments that come with being a diverse scholar. For example, I was nominated and received a fellowship with the National Science Foundation's Cadre Fellowship. There's also opportunities to be on a committee to help to help provide a diverse perspective to benefit the university as a whole.
Yeah, and Shalise, and the cadre, I know that the person who was blind, who was on the cadre last year, said she was the only neurodiverse candidate in the NSF cadre. Is that true for you again this year?
Yes, I am one of 2 people with disabilities in the cadre group, and I've really loved sharing that experience, and I can tell that others are benefiting from hearing my perspective, and I'm benefiting from hearing perspectives of other diverse scholars.
Yeah, and I think that's my favorite thing when we have our weekly meetings is just, I look around the room and go, I'm learning so much from all of you. So as a faculty member, I think as you think about recruiting diversity, period, and including a range of neurodiversity, remember the greater the diversity of your program, the greater the strength of you as a faculty. Because I am definitely a different faculty member 20 years later based on what each scholar has taught me than when I was before they walked in the door. And so I do think that's been a celebration. And so one of the things that we really try to do is those who have graduated, we say you owe us. And I don't mean you owe us, but you owe us being the cohorts. So I always say, your past scholars speak louder than words, and I think the word is out that we're definitely not perfect. We've really struggled in the area of stats for people with visual impairments. I think there are other universities we could learn from, but I think it's the support we provided that speaks louder than any flyer you could ever have about your program. We try to reach out regularly to past alums, both to see that they're doing okay, what could we have done better while they were here, and making those bridges and connections. Like I know, Shalise, we've connected you with a past scholar who has a learning disability, and you got some probably advice. I don't even want to know what you got, would be my guess, but some of those inside scholars. And I know, Fanica, you've had a lot of connections with other with other culturally diverse scholars. Matter of fact, a couple have graduated from Dr. Key's program too. And so, try to stay in contact no matter what the diversity is, but whatever scholars you have, but ask them to give back and be a part of your mentor network. And say, I have a scholar who has blank, whatever it is, they want to live in the same region. I think we often think of disability as something that, we have to manage, when I really think it's no different than any other scholar. If somebody wants to move to Alaska, we have a scholar there. What is the accessibility for somebody in a wheelchair in Alaska? Well, if it's great in that particular city, that person wants to know. And so we've done a really good job, I think, of that connection, because I think recruiting and retaining is one, graduating and employing is the next stage for scholars, and making those connections is really important. And then I know personal contact. You probably both were like, yeah, she gave me her cell phone in 30 seconds. But honestly, you can't get great scholars like these two ladies and the other 25 scholars that I wish could all be on this presentation without providing immediate contact but support. What do you need? How can we help? Is it moving? Is it a spousal job? Is it helping you find the right school? What is it can we do? And then if there is an issue, address the elephant in the room. Yeah, we're a really great campus, but I don't know how wheelchair accessible some areas are. Yes, we're ADA compliant, but I'm not sure you're going to be able to get on the third floor and have a fire plan. I mean, there are things that no matter how good of a university you are, there is an elephant in the room. And so being ADA compliant versus being honest about your limitations, we don't teach R, and R is better for people who are blind. So again, having those discussions, connect scholars to each other. Don't try to sell your own support. Be honest. Let scholars talk to each other and say, yes, this is what they do well. This is what they don't do so well. We know we're not perfect, but we really do think our actions speak louder than words. So my dear colleagues here, do you have any words of advice that you might give for the personal contact you've had with past alums or scholars to other universities that have been most helpful during your time so far?
I would say just making sure that facilitation is made open, and that there is a way for you to get in as a new scholar to be able to contact past scholars and get their advice.
I can agree with that, Shalise, for sure.
So remember, these ladies will tell you they don't just graduate. They've had a lot of mentoring, and not just from me, but from each other. They support each other. We really try to talk about, what are you good at? I'm going to brag on Fanica. She's a great writer. And so again, hanging out with a great writer, and Shalise will tell you that's an area of unique opportunities for you, right, Shalise?
Writing is very difficult for me, so being around someone who has writing as a strong strength, I've learned a lot by working with Fanica.
Yeah, and yet I would argue that Shalise, you are the person who, doesn't matter what's going on in life, you are ready to stand up and present and tell a story and advocate for kids in STEM.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and so, yeah.
I can definitely agree with that, especially
I was going to say. Yeah, you fear no stats class. So again, what we try to say, and we even look at our cohorts, and we try not to admit everybody with the same strength. Because again, a strength-based approach is growing from each other. We really do try to think about those internal and external support networks. Who needs to be on your committee? Maybe we don't have an area. Maybe we don't reflect the area of disability. We currently have a scholar with neurodiversity, and they said, hey, can we have this past scholar from 3 years ago that has my same neurodiverse background? Well, why not? Why not include that culture as a part of the committee? And then we are famous to get press. Any chance we can, we've got somebody in the paper, we're sharing their story, because again, if others don't hear about the strengths of your program, who's going to come to your program. And so it's through those news stories that we've really gotten a lot of support. So this is our contact information. We'd be happy to talk with you a little bit further. And I'll ask each of us to end with kind of a pearl of wisdom of something that you want others to think about in their doctoral program. I would just say, make it personal. Getting a PhD student is about getting a colleague, a friend. These ladies will be not only my friend for life, but they'll help change the field with me for the rest of my life. And I feel very privileged for every doctoral student I get. Any words of wisdom, Shalise or Fanica?
Yes, continue to provide ongoing mentoring. That's really important, especially for scholars who are out of state and don't have any family. So just making sure, doing those check-ins, making sure they're okay, making sure everything is straight and that they don't need anything, or if they do, try to figure out ways to help them any way possible.
And I would say just make sure that you are embracing and celebrating diversity in all the shapes and forms